Hello and welcome in the second part of my character leveling guide for Ranger Deadeye. In this video I will give you a build leveling guide so you can easily blast through the campaign. I completed all of the acts, reached the endgame and completed one map already. In this video I will focus on improving the build while doing the last 3 acts of the campaign, the cruel difficulty acts 1, 2 and 3, which technically are acts 4, 5 and 6. I will show the passive tree, skill and support gems, my gear and some more. If you just started the campaign, I highly recommend you to see part 1 of this video first. This is my passive tree and I will quickly cover the progress in the last 3 acts of the campaign. If you just started, this is my early leveling tree from the first 3 acts and I will not discuss these nodes again, so if you want more details, the link to part 1 is in the description. So in the next steps I took the critical strike cluster to increase my crit strike chance and crit strike damage bonus. Then I took the shock node to increase the magnitude of shocks that I inflict. Then I took the lightning penetration node. After that I took the mana flask node for increased mana flask charges and also for some flask charges gained passively, which is good especially for boss fights, so it's easier to not run out of mana charges during the fight, which is super important to win the fight. Then I took another socket here after I managed to get a decent emerald jewel. Then I took the attack speed and flask duration node here. The 25% increased attack speed during any flask effect is pretty strong, and this node also allows you to grab some attribute points, which are super important in terms of upgrading your gems and gear. Then I took the remaining attack damage point here and the remaining attack speed with bow points here. Finally, I grabbed one more jewel socket here. So this is my current tree, and now the ascendancy. I haven't completed the trials for the last 4 points yet, but I will be grabbing this path here with projectile proximity specialization, which I will be choosing point blank from, and then the endless munitions notable for an additional arrow. That's it for the tree. Now let's discuss the gems. As you can see, I unlocked some additional gem support slots with the Lesser Jeweler's Orb, and this is what you should do as soon as possible at the start of Cruel difficulty, or even earlier. So I'm still using Lightning Arrow supported by Martial Tempo for more attack speed, Primal Armament for increased elemental damage, and the last support is Lightning Infusion for some extra lightning damage. Second skill is Lightning Rod supported by Magnified Effect for increased area of effect, and then with Lightning Penetration and with Scatter Shot for more Lightning Rods placed. As I mentioned in my previous video, I use Lightning Rods first near the monsters and then I shot the Lightning Arrow into them. Lightning Arrow bolts chain with Lightning Rods and then with the monsters. It greatly clears the monster packs and also greatly helps with the bosses and rares, so it's good tech for both clearing and single target. Next I have Herald of Thunder Spirit skill supported by Concentrated Effect, Maim and Herbalism. My second spirit is Wind Dancer supported by Cannibalism. And lastly I'm using Voltaic Mark for increased effect of shock. I'm applying it to rares and bosses, and I'm not using any support gem here because I don't want to increase the mana cost, which is already quite high for this skill. Now let's discuss the gear. My gearing priority is first life pool, second damage, and third resistances. Resistances are of course very important, but I managed to finish almost all of the acts with very low resistances, so first I focused on having as much life and damage as possible, and then in the last 2 acts of the campaign I focused on capping my resistances to 75, 75, 75. I also started grabbing some item rarity on the gear. Let's see the items. Here's my bow. I paid just a few X for it and it has decent damage. The quiver is not strong, just a 1 Exalt random quiver. Helmet is the item rarity one and I managed to find one with some dex and int, which are super important stats in PoE 2. Body armor is just a life and resistances one, so I can cap my resistances. The amulet is a gold amulet, so I can have some additional item rarity alongside with the life and resistances mods. Here are my rings. I prefer gold rings for additional item rarity and prismatic rings for some nice plus to all elemental resistances. Belt is similar like the body armor, just life and as much resistances as possible. Gloves as well, life and resistances. You can get some nice damage bonuses on the gloves, but life and resis are more important at this state of progression. Except for the bow, where I'm using increased physical damage runes, I used elemental resistances runes on all of the rest of the gear. My life flask is with increased recovery rate and with passive charges gained, which is very good to sustain charges during long boss fights. Mana flask is with increased amount recovered and reduced charges per use. I haven't figured out yet if passive charges gained or reduced charges used is better. Probably both have some pros and cons. And my charm is the golden charm for increased item rarity. It activates when killing a rare or unique monster, and I'm not sure if it applies to the killed monster instantly, but I assume it does, as it says when killed, not after killed. Now some additional quest info. Offering to the Armid, I chose 30% increased charm charges gained, and Venom Draught quest for Cruel, I chose the Venom Draught of Sky, the green one, which provides +5 to all attributes, but it's not visible here on the map as it's as before in normal difficulty, so I assume it's a bug. So this is it. This was a second part of my From Zero to MF Hero series video, and I will be making this character a full magic find build, which means stacking as much item rarity as possible. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions. More videos coming soon, and for now, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.